Good afternoon. Welcome back. Kent Bayman 9 Business Group with Elevate Your Business Spotlight interview. We have Colton Steed joining us today. Colton, please introduce yourself. Most importantly, your company name and what you do, what sets you apart from the competition. Colton, welcome.
Thanks. I'm Colton. My company is Mint Painting here in Lethbridge, Alberta. And as far as what differentiates us from our competition, particularly, we've just had a huge emphasis on enabling our team members to provide exceptional service, and I feel like we've done a really good job at that, evident by our reviews. Biggest differentiator for sure is the communication, the client service that people get, as opposed to someone just coming in their house to do a job.
In an industry, thank you, an industry that has notoriously been not that, where did that emphasis come from? Where did you learn it? And I guess more importantly, what process did you go through to teach it to your team, and how do you get them to care, to actually know what customer service is and then actually do it?
Sure. A few questions there. How I kind of came into that as a focus for sure was when I worked for a construction company quite a few years back. I talked about working in project management for them, and it just became very evident there was this huge lack of professionalism in just the trades in general. Painting just happened to be the one that I had been in, that I knew the most about. And so, that's where we decided to go with our first business here. And so that's just been the huge focus is as we've learned to scale it up, making sure that everyone knows that client experience is the most important part of the job. And then obviously you have to be professional, you have to be competent, you have to be able to do your job well. But a lot of guys can show up and do a good job painting. Not a lot of guys can show up and provide a great client experience. As far as coaching or teaching that to the employees, I think it's just been recurring, like, going over those expectations with them, emphasizing that when they come on, but then re-emphasizing it, job after job, building in reward structures for reviews, passing along compliments when clients compliment them, and then also just making sure to give really constructive feedback whenever there does need to be something that's corrected. And everyone's been really responsive and they've fixed any issues right away.
That's fun. So what kind of rewards do you give the team for getting positive reviews on social media and on Google reviews and whatnot?
Yeah, so we've got a system in place right now where, if the crew gets a 5-star review from a client, then they get a free lunch, basically. So that's just a really simple way, something small that we've done, where they're just really motivated to make sure they get that positive review, and not just because they want a free lunch, but they also want to provide a great experience for people, and they take pride in that. So, yeah.
Before we hit record, we started talking about some of the things you've learned along the way. What have you learned about two parts? One, personal performance, mindset, and then also team, or are the two interlaced?
I definitely interlaced for sure. So personal performance and mindset, I guess maybe I could get a little clarification on that question for sure. Like personal performance in terms of each individual or myself, what are you looking for?
How about yourself? Because what we're really talking about here is entrepreneurs, and the hope is to have entrepreneurs watch these and understand that it's one thing to build a company, it's one thing to have sales and marketing, but it's another thing to have the right mindset that allows us to grow through the challenges that we're faced in business.
Okay, sure. So something I've thought about a lot lately, over this year particularly, is it's really easy to get in a rut, especially in the beginning of like, I just got to pay the bills, and all these other priorities just kind of slip to the wayside. It becomes more about, and it's really hard. It is difficult to balance that, especially in the beginning when you do have to put food on the table with, you're trying to reinvest in your company and have I guess, optimistic, forward-thinking mindset that you need to perform. But I think that once you can get into the mindset of like, I'm not doing this so that I can have free time. I'm just doing this so that I can level up to the next thing, so I can develop myself as a better leader, so I can become more capable. The difference between who you are now and who you want to be and the potential that you have really is just a matter of like putting into action the things you know you need to do, and being the example you need to be to your team day in and day out. And then you start to feel the progress of just personal development, your competency increasing, and that just bleeds over into the team a ton. And I feel like my focus this last year has really shifted to just very long-term oriented about the type of person I want to become. And then that just kind of naturally bleeds down to your team members, right? You're trying to pull them up with you, and that makes a big difference. They can feel that.
Love it, love it, love it. Perfect. When you look back over the years you've been doing this, what has been the biggest challenge? Or maybe said another way, what is one thing you know now you wish you would have known when you started? Kind of what is that greatest lesson that it's kind of like, man, that one hurt, but I'm glad I learned it. But if I could have given it back to Colton X number of years ago on day one, what would that thing be?
Ooh, there's a lot of those things. Let's see.
All right, top three.
Sure. So I think first one would just be that it's going to take more interviews and more hires than you think it will to find the right people in your team, um, but also to be capable of leading the right people within your organization. So that takes those two things both take times: finding the right people and then becoming the right leader for your team. Because I definitely just thought it would happen a lot faster than it did. And there was some personal growth that needed to happen in order for me to achieve that. The other thing, uh, yeah, I would just say that most problems are not as big of a problem as you feel like they are. It's really easy to like be stressed and be losing sleep over something that in all reality you could solve quite quickly. And if you just learn to build a propensity for action. So I think a lot of the times I'll weigh problems too on a cost. What's it going to cost me financially to solve this like quicker? And if I try to take the like less expensive route of solving this, right, like what are the consequences of that? And so there's been a lot of like, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's been a few things where I've been like, hey, you know what? We're either going to throw money at this or we're just going to eat the cost on this so that I can forget about it and move on to the next thing tomorrow versus having to deal with it and dwell on that problem or that issue over a longer period of time. And just freeing up your attention and your emotional energy is a huge advantage.
So are you saying in two parts then? Part one is staffing and getting the right team will take you more time, more interviews, more people than you think. And then number two, the most of the problems in business are bigger in our head than they are in reality and take way
100%.
less time and money to solve the first time versus the cost of procrastinating and kicking it down the road.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, you nailed it.
If there was a pirate or a thief in your business, what would they be stealing?
What would it be stealing?
Yeah.
Attention. Attention, 100%. You've got your priorities listed out each week. And I've been getting better, a lot better at this over the last year or two here. But historically, I'd be like, okay, I've got my crews going and jobs are running. I'm going to be doing this many sales appointments this week. I'm going to be doing these marketing activities. And then inevitably somebody calls and there's an issue. And it's really, really difficult, especially when you're first trying to kind of delegate more, to not just be the hero, go back to the job site, deal with the issues, and you just get pulled into the weeds. And there's occasions where that's necessary, but I would say 9 out of 10 times it's not necessary. It's just in your head. Yeah.
I love it. When you left business school, you had your undergraduate, and I think you said in business school, entrepreneur management degree. What was your definition of success when you left university, and is it the same as it is today? If it's different, what is it now?
Sure. I mean, you come out of business school and you're like, I'm going to build a big successful business, and especially when you get surrounded or you kind of rub shoulders via people visiting and talking to the school, and a lot of multimillionaires, some of them billionaires, just ridiculously successful people, and everybody's kind of measuring their like, oh, who can build a business the fastest or achieve, you know, financial freedom the fastest. It's really like a big focus, and that's natural, I think, coming out of school. But I think that's just quickly shifted to for me to like, yes, like achieving financial freedom and security for my family is important, but it's just kind of a byproduct of the larger vision of like, you know, there's a huge lack of, you know, jobs that provide a great experience for people in trades. I'm like, we want to build a massive company that can provide really good jobs for people where they look forward to coming to work most days, right? Like that's huge. And we've accomplished that with the guys we currently have, which is awesome. So I think that's a huge piece of it. But then just, you know, the other half of that's just building a company that's better, you know, that provides a better experience that people love, that we love, that you know, that I'm not anxious to take a phone call from a client ever, right? Um, that's, you know, that's really the goal.
Love it. For all the good people down in Lethbridge, McGrath and area, who are looking to get some residential and some commercial work done, where do they find you?
You can find us on Instagram, or you can even look us up on Google. We got a ton of reviews on there. So look us up, call us, text us. Yep.
What's your phone number, my friend?
403-393-1598.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks, Colton. Love the insight. Keep up the good work and keep those customers happy.
Thanks. Appreciate it.